Good evening. It is now 7 p.m. and I will call the Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. All three selectmen are present and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from November 6th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion on the minutes.
I just got one on 11. Put a K instead of an L.
Yep, so
and
under,
that's it.
I had that too. Under, did you get that, Dottie? Under 11, it should be K Beausoleil. And then under Selectmen comments, my comments, it was actually John Bell, Bell, not John Mills. And that was all I had.
I was gonna ask if there was a new person.
Nope, John
There's
Bell.
always a possibility.
never know.
There is. Any other corrections or changes or as usual? It's wonderful content. Can't say enough, Dottie. You do a fabulous job with the minutes.
Absolutely.
Thank you always, Dottie.
All right, all in favor of the approving the minutes with the corrections noted, say aye.
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 And I'll abstain because I was not in attendance.
Okay. All right, correspondence. We do have the information from the Connecticut Siting Council in regard to the solar project being proposed on
Point of order. I believe the selectmen are muted.
I wonder if we have to start all over again. The recording won't pick up anything. Let's start from the, going back to the approval of minutes. Because Dottie probably didn't hear anything. All right, thank you, Valerie. Had no idea we were muted. All right, going back, make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from November 6th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, discussion on the minutes. Ken pointed out that there was an issue with agenda item 11. Or the minutes, section 11, L Beausoleil should be K Beausoleil. And then during selectmen comments in section 5, I had said Amy St. noted that John Bell, Bell, not John Mills. Those were the two corrections. There were no other corrections or additions, and we did comment that Dottie does a fine job constructing the minutes for us. So everybody thanked her. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
And I abstain for not attending.
All right, agenda item 4, correspondence. We did receive word from the Connecticut Siting Council in regard to the solar project at 77 Pompeo Road. There will be a public hearing. It is not going to be in the town of Thompson. It will be virtual on January 16th. At 2 p.m. there will be an evidentiary hearing or session that will provide the petitioner parties and interveners an opportunity to cross-examine the petition or the positions. No public comment will be received during the 2 p.m. session. At 6:30 p.m. there will be a public comment session. You do have to sign up ahead of time. And the instructions on signing up for the public comment is on our website and on our Facebook page. Or if there's any questions, feel free to call the Selectmen's office to get your name on the list if you decide you want to make public comment about this project. I did receive one more, bit of correspondence. It came to the selectmen and also the town clerk. So it was a letter from an Andrea Emons at 21 Fairway Drive. She was actually supporting the solar project. But, I'll just share that with both of you. And that was all I had for correspondence. Any other correspondence?
No,
I don't.
All right, I'll let you both read that. It's not that long of a little note. It was and just so everybody knows, it was a handwritten note that came to the selectmen and the town clerk's office. All right, moving on to selectmen comments at this time.
happy Thanksgiving.
It's here already.
That's the only comment I'm gonna make tonight because we have a hefty agenda
We
and
do.
yeah.
I don't have anything at this time.
All right. I do just want to point out a couple things, revaluation, and Paul is, you'll see it's on the agenda for tonight, so I'm not gonna jump to that. But, there is, if there are hearing officers that will be here all this week. If you want to discuss your revaluation and notice of assessment, a municipal valuation services will be here. You do have to book your appointment. The deadline to schedule an appointment is November 21st, 2024. And we have all the information in the selectman's office. If you haven't seen this notice already and you want to sit down with the municipal valuation services and discuss your valuation on your property, they will be here through the week. But you do have to make your appointment by the 21st, which is Thursday. So do know that. Small Business Weekend is coming up after Thanksgiving. For Thompson small businesses, we have the Thompson Historical Society Gift and Holiday Shop, Christine Tansen Pottery, which is on 4 Chase Road, Abby's Quiet Corner Gift Shed, which is on Chase Road, Woodland Whimsy, which is also on Chase Road, A La Mode Specialty Food Market at Aquatic Town Farm Road, Sunrun Garden and Gift Shop, which is on Aquatic Town Farm Road, Morning Beckons Farm at 343 Sandam Road, and New Boston Beef at 9 Fabian Woodstock Road. These are the shops that are participating, and they'll be having specials that weekend. So shop local, shop in Thompson, and make it for the small business weekend. Last thing I want to share is the second annual Winter Market and Tree Festival is happening on Saturday, December 7th, between the hours of 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the Thompson Community Center and Dewhamel Pond. And we are also going to be doing animal photos with Santa during this event. It's actually preceding the event between 12:30 and 3:30, and our animal control officer, Brianna, is asking to bring whatever well-mannered pets you'd like to bring, which means snakes, lizards, frogs, pigs, horses, cows. Actually, and the prize will be for the most unique pet photo. So that should be a good time, and that's between 12:30 and 3:30, just before the winter market begins. And that's all I have. Okay. With that, we'll move on to citizen comments. The floor is open to citizen comments, and we will begin with the Zoom audience. Ms. Valerie Clark.
Valerie Clark, Elm Road. A few things. The first is that I have a concern about the agendas for the various commissions and boards being posted timely. I received yesterday afternoon, sorry for the squeaking, a slew of emails notifying me, and it was in the afternoon, that Conservation Commission which was being held last night, so it was short notice. Board of Selectmen, eh, Board of Finance, I got all of them all at once. And so I'm concerned about whether there was a technical issue with posting or with notifications to those of us that are subscribed to the site. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And then on a better note, I want to thank very, very, very much our emergency management team. I really appreciate them and thank you for all that you do and have done and did on Sunday. I really appreciate it. Wanted the selectmen to know that. And then another thanks is to Joe Tasek. He returned my call very quickly today and answered my question as usual very, very well. And then the third one is to Paul Hopkins, who is doing a yeoman's job right now, so thank him too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Staff appreciates the acknowledgement. And I think that the emails, that the notices just went out all at once, and apologize, but the good news is you were notified. That's the good news that came of it. So was it a glitch? It might have been a glitch with the system, but I'll look into it for sure. So thank you for bringing it to our attention. Any other citizen comments from the Zoom audience? Citizen comments from the live audience. Just state your name and address for the record and you can speak. Yes.
Rainey Moran, 130 Pompeo Road, North Grovenordale. Did you want to make my citizens' comments now or under the discussion when you get to the 77 Pompeo Road line item?
I think we can wait for the line item. Yep,
I just don't want to lose the opportunity.
right. Yep,
Why don't
we'll
you-
allow you to speak.
We want to
since-
see your board make a decision before I have some input, so I want to make sure.
No, absolutely. You brought it to our
Yep.
attention and you're the reason it's on the agenda, so we will give you an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Any other citizen comments at this time? Mr. Williams?
For Plain Road, I almost got like the same type of thing that he has for the private roads.
Mhm.
I have something I just want to say before, I'm not sure what you guys are doing with it, but on Schoolhouse Pond, that property was foreclosed on, 1956, 55, 56. At a selectmen's meeting, they sold the boat ramp. So that has to be them a town roads, just because the people from the Lake Association put up signs saying private roads, don't mean them are private roads. About 20-25 years ago, on the by the beach, it was washed out real bad. The town came in, fixed them again, showing that it's pretty much town roads. The town, all our taxpayers' dollars paid the town workers to tar all them roads. And so I just want that to be noted, that, you know, just because it says private roads, because of the pond association says that don't mean them are private roads down there. That was all foreclosed on, and the town owned that whole piece of, that whole development down there.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? All right, since we do have a hefty agenda, we will move on. It's that time of the month. It's an exciting time. Thank you again, Rainey, for putting this together. Thompson Veteran of the Month for November 2024. Elmer Preston of Old Route 12 in the Mechanicsville Village of Thompson has been chosen by the nominating committee to be the fourth recipient of the newly formed Veteran of the Month program for the town of Thompson. Elmer is the November 2024 awardee, and the community is so very pleased and proud to honor Elmer in this capacity. Elmer was a heavy truck and bus driver in Germany and often transported commanders and generals across the East and West Berlin border demarcation before the unification of East and West Germany. Elmer served for the better part of 2 years in East and West Germany from 1963 to 1965 as part of the G2 Intelligence Brigade. Elmer did his training at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and Fort Eustis in Virginia before being assigned to his duties in Germany. Elmer was awarded the Army of Occupation Medal in Germany and was a carbine marksman during his service to our country. It is very appropriate to honor Elmer in November because November is the month that this country honors its veterans, and Elmer certainly epitomizes veterans in Thompson. He has been a member and a longtime commander of the Veterans of Foreign War, VFW Post 10088 in Quinnebog for the past 55 years. He is also a 40-year member of the American Legion Post 67 of Thompson. Elmer is married to Carol Preston, who also donates her time to veterans as part of the VFW Auxiliary. Elmer and Carol, thank you for your service from a very grateful community. This one we always ask. At this time, we always ask our veterans officer to say a few words. Would you like to say a few words?
Have you ever known me not to want to say a few words? Thank you, Amy. What a great opportunity to honor a real Thompson hero. Elmer, as Amy stated in her remarks, really is known around town as Mr. Veteran. Not only because of his service when he was in Germany, his active duty service, but his service to his community ever since he was discharged, he along with his wife. And I feel like I'm at a VFW event here tonight, everyone in that back row. 55 years in the VFW in post 10088 from Quinnebog. Many of those years as the commander. In addition, over 30 years as a member of the American Legion post in Thompson. Everyone knows Elmer because of his not only his involvement with the VFW and the American Legion, but his involvement with the town of Thompson, more specifically with his duties at the transfer station, which really is the nerve center of this community. You want to know something? You go to the transfer station on a Saturday morning and people are talking about what's going on in town. So, you know, Elmer has been a champion for the town of Thompson as well. It's not only Elmer, I guess, we honor Elmer as the veteran of the month, but he comes along with his wonderful wife of many years who has served almost as much time as Elmer in the VFW with the Ladies Auxiliary. So together, I think I calculated almost 100 years of service between Elmer and Carol to our community. So it was a no-brainer. When November is Veterans Month, it seemed like it was extremely appropriate to honor Elmer as our Veteran of the Month. We had a lot of nominations for Elmer. The committee met and unanimously decided that we would want to honor you during the month of November. So thank you for everything that you have done, not only in your time in the service, but in your time in this community as well. Your entire family, you know, your sons are also life members, I think, of the VFW. It's just a real success story, a real nice feel-good story in this community. So I think I speak on behalf of all the citizens of Thompson, saying congratulations, Elmer and Carol, for your extraordinary service to our country and to our community. Thank you. Read this. Town of Thompson honors Veteran of the Month, Elmer Preston, United States Army, 1963 to 1965. Stationed in East and West Germany, Brigade G2 Intelligence. Received the Army of Occupation Medal in Berlin. 55-year member and post commander of VFW Post 10088. Organizer and leader of the annual Memorial Day Parade and the Veterans Day ceremonies, which we just had here last week. Beautiful ceremony as you do every year. Thank you for your service from a very grateful community, dated November 2024. Congratulations. We got a photo with the whole family?
I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't do this for myself.
Yeah.
I do this for all veterans, especially the veterans that didn't come home. So I appreciate this honor, and everywhere I go, meetings, I mention this to them, and I hope I get more towns involved in what you're doing, right? I appreciate it very much. And I gotta put this to the wall with all my other ones.
Yeah.
And I thank everybody that came here. And, I don't know what to say, I'm lost of words.
You don't have to say anything. You've done enough in this community. It says it
And I'm
all.
gonna keep on going as long as I can walk.
Thank you.
Thank
Al.
you.
Come get the family picture.
Can we do
Do
it?
it in front of the flag.
In front of the flag.
And I'll close the door, so it looks a little bit better. Close the door. No. Family,
Yeah.
family photo.
He said we've been married 53 years.
Wow.
Hang on, it didn't open up.
150 years together.
That's awesome.
So who gets the plaque for that one?
Are you guys gonna get in there with them guys?
Yeah.
I don't want him on this side.
You were tapped.
Gotta do it like that. Awesome.
Good.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, anyway, you gotta take something down and put that on. Thank you, Ray.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You got a lot more to go. So, I don't think I'll see them all, but
And let you off the hook, yeah.
But this has become the highlight of our meeting.
It really
Yes.
Yeah, maybe with the auxiliary folks.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thinking,
One more picture?
Yes, one little picture. Yes, I do.
We don't do
This
pictures.
is the should do a picture, so you gotta get up there and take a picture with the auxiliary.
So that means you gotta get back up there, Carol.
Yeah, you can go too, 'cause you're the auxiliary.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
All right, next on the agenda. New hire, Joseph Rickaby, DPW maintainer. We had approved the hire of Joe as summer help. He's done an extraordinary job and he just got his CDL this past Friday. So Joe wanted to move him into the maintainer position that was open. So just looking to have this board approve that hire. And Joe is here if you have any questions about him as a hire.
Okay, so you need a motion to hire Joe Rickaby as the DPW maintainer.
Yes.
Made it.
I made that motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this candidate? Nope. All in favor of approving the new hire of Joseph Rickaby as DPW maintainer, say aye.
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 Aye. Right, awesome. Agenda item 9, private roads maintenance. So back on July 5th, 2022, we had a selectmen's meeting where we discussed private road maintenance. And it's been sitting in the hopper, trying to be formulated, and I don't expect any action on this tonight. I just wanted to present what our findings were, as far as private roads are concerned. I want to bring to the board's attention Connecticut General Statute 47-42F, which addresses the maintenance of private easements or rights of way, and the cost. In particular, in section B, the owner of any residential real property that benefits from an easement or right of way, the purpose of which is to provide access to such residential real property, shall be responsible for the cost of maintaining such easement or right of way in good repair, and the cost of repairing or restoring any damaged portion of such easement or right of way. Such maintenance shall include, but not be limited to, the removal of snow from such easement or right of way. Now, in 2012, a policy was put in place for snow maintenance, and I don't think that should be touched. It's very important that that policy stay in effect for the safety of our residents. But we have several, and I did attach the list of the current private roads in town that are not maintained. There's only one that's or actually two that's maintained. Border Trail has been maintained, and Wrightson Drive. And it's an inequity. If you're gonna do for some, you have to do for all. But according to the statute and statutory language, it says that they shall maintain, not that the municipality shall maintain, because there are clauses or there are regulations surrounding the use of public funds for private property. So this is only a draft. And since I'm just presenting it to you tonight, I want you both just to take some time and digest it, and think about it. I'm gonna post it online so that the public, can see what's being presented, and then we can have a full discussion at our next meeting. I did ask Joe to attend tonight, number one, because of, Joe Rickaby being hired. But also if he wanted to share anything about private road maintenance. Would that be okay with the board?
Sure.
Joe, did you have anything you wanted to share? I know we talked about a few things.
Yeah, we've talked about a few things, maintenance on private property.
Mhm.
That's a tough thing, because that's people that pay taxes for the roads. And we're maintaining private roads. We do not get any income from the state or government to maintain those roads at all.
Right.
No plowing. In my personal opinion, I don't care if it's your driveway. If the ambulance has got to get up there, I'm gonna plow your driveway. And I'm gonna make it accessible for the safety of the people, whether it may be anything. But maintenance wise, and the money that we do put into private roads should not be paid by the residents. All town residents, tax wise.
So again, I'm presenting this, I was tasked with coming up with a policy back. That's why I noted the July 5th meeting from 2022. I was tasked, and it's been on the burner and been being created. We did work with the town attorney to make sure that the language was adhered to the statutory language. It also works together in harmony with the current subdivision regulations, which allow for homeowner associations to be, or something thereof to be formulated. So take some time, digest it. We'll get this published so the public can see it as well. And then we can have a full conversation at one of our next meetings.
Did you find, from back in 2012?
Oh, I have the maintenance, the snowplow maintenance. Do you want me to get you a copy of that?
Yeah, that would go good with this.
Yes, I will get that as well. And it specifically states that that policy will stay in effect within this policy. So I don't want to touch that whatsoever.
And this is a list, this is not a list of all private roads in Thompson.
I don't know what list you have, but the top, I believe on the list, the top half of are maintained roads.
Yeah, there might be a few that we're missing. We have to look, we'll sit and we'll look through that
Okay,
together.
and go through, and there are also private roads that we do not maintain, such as like Jensen and things like that.
Those are the ones we don't snowplow.
We don't plow them, we don't
Right.
maintain them, those are maintained by the residents that live on that road.
Right. You're on Clarence, so you're off of Logie.
Yeah, but it's a separate road,
Right,
and Logie Point isn't on here either.
okay,
That's why I was asking.
yeah. That was the best,
Logie's on here.
Yeah,
right. We'll work on the list, Joe, together before the next,
and
before we address it
Yeah.
again. All right. So that was all I had to share. Did either of you have any thoughts? You're good with just
no,
digesting it
yeah.
and,
I'd like to have time to read
Yeah.
through it and.
all right.
Joe, can you, on this list, which ones that we actually grade?
I thought that was,
Because I know it's Randolph.
Well, Randall's a town road,
Yeah,
that is.
I know we graded Wrightson.
We did Wrightson this year, which is a privately owned road.
And we just found out Border Trail was never accepted or owned or transferred to the town.
To the town.
So-
And a good 75% of Randall Road is not even in Thompson.
Randall or Border Trail?
I mean.
Border Trail.
Border
Excuse me,
Trail, right.
Border Trail.
I mean, actually, the state owns part of Border Trail.
Well, no, the state owns alongside of Border Trail. It's Putnam property, and it actually dips into Rhode Island for less than 100 feet. And then it hits Thompson. All the residents that live on that road live in Thompson. So it should still be plowed to get.
But I think that was one of them that we graded.
Yes, we did grade that. We
Graded Wrightson Drive.
Wrightson Drive.
We used to do part of Bros,
We used to do
Right
part
on the
of
border.
Burroughs
where,
Landing,
as far as we could go.
but we
safely.
can't even make it to the corner anymore. There's been a lot of maintenance and building on that road, and they put in, I did a small report there that I had to have done before, the
I'll
beginning
share
of
that with you guys
August.
too.
And they put in speed bumps and things like that, and on that 2012 agreement, nothing can be altered in the road, so if they, and that was in my report, if they don't take out the speed bumps, I'm not gonna waste our equipment, trying to
Yeah.
keep that open.
Yeah, going back to 2012, one of the things was back then, we were supposed to do an inspection of the road.
Yeah,
And if there was any issues, bring it to their attention so they could resolve it. Because we don't want to damage
And-
equipment.
we did that last year, and the speed bumps are still there from last
I
year.
think they're maintaining it themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty
Rose-
Well,
just-
at Broad's Landing, there's also a section, somebody built a house and they paved the road in front of them.
Right,
So that comes to tell me their pins are beyond the road. And a lot of those roads have changed so much because of the houses, that they're not even in the original spots that they were. They've gone onto other people, different people's property because of the way the traffic pattern goes. And at the end of that road, it is so skinny, one lane, you're lucky if it's one lane. When you
And-
get down to the end, well, there's a private boat launch of some sort down at the end. there.
and I watched the ambulance try to get in and out of there a couple of times this past summer, and it was
And
quite a challenge.
It's so
Yeah.
overgrown.
Yeah.
And a lot of people park right in front of their cottages, and it makes it more difficult for them.
I mean, we plowed that with a 1 ton.
Yeah,
No, back then.
yeah. We've gone down there with heavier equipment when we had a lot of snow to make it so they could clean it up and at least have access to their houses and stuff like that.
All right, well, this will be good reading.
some readings for you. Thank you, Joe.
Different.
All right, agenda item 10, bizarre raffle bingo fees. So what was that? I think it was 2017 or 18, the state transferred all permitting
To the
to the
town.
towns. And I think, if I recall, we just kind of went along with what the statute said for some of these fees. So Marie's been handling it, although the ordinance does state that the town clerk's supposed to handle it.
If Elmer
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you guys don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, please.
Yeah.
Don't feel
Don't feel
obligated.
obligated.
Well, we
Um,
welcome anybody to stay.
Absolutely.
So Marie and I have had a discussion because she's been handling, the issuance of these permits, and some of the fees seemed a little bit exorbitant. Especially when, you're considering that these are people trying to make money for nonprofits. The real role of the permit is to ensure that Joe Smith from down the street isn't just trying to make money for himself, that it's actual nonprofit organizations that are holding raffles, et cetera. So you'll see under a few lines down where it says Thompson fee, this, what the schedule is currently within the ordinance. It's the fee schedule, not in the ordinance, but the fee schedule. These are the fees that are included, and below that's highlighted is what we're recommending for a change. Additionally, while we're here talking, in the past, we had always waived the fee, the $75 fee for the bingo. That was when the school was in place. But now that the school's not in place, it seems reasonable that maybe it's only $75, but it is an administrative fee. That maybe the Board of Selectmen should consider not waiving the fee, since we don't waive it for other organizations. At the time, it was because it was profiting the school. So it's just some food for thought, but something that we should discuss.
Marie, what's a class one?
That was my question.
It says it's a mass aggregate prize value of $15,000.
Oh, okay.
The length of time that they can sell the tickets is 3 months, and they can do it once a year.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
at the top, okay.
Yes, at the top section.
The majority of people do the class
Class 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yep. And we've had a few 3s. The class 3 is actually a bazaar, and those are the tickets, the roll tickets where you don't have to have anything printed. So that's why it's called a bazaar, but it does fall under raffles.
So when people buy like a strip of tickets and they
Yeah.
put them in whatever prize they want to win. Correct.
Yes, that's a.
Isn't that those, the other type of tickets there that you buy and there's a value when you open it up?
No.
You know which ones I'm talking about. I
do,
forget
but
what they call it.
That might count towards it too.
Yeah.
It's
I don't-
slightly, when you read the language in the
Yeah.
statutes, it's very confusing,
I'm-
which is understandable
The
why
grid
when,
is a little confusing.
when we adopted this and took it on and agreed to take it on, because we didn't have
We didn't
to.
have a choice.
Oh, I thought we didn't have to. I thought we just made the decision to.
The
take
state
it on.
dumped it on us.
Okay. We just kind of went with what everything we went with was what the state was recommending. It was recommended. It wasn't what we had to go with. So Marie did a comparison with the other towns, and that's how we came up with the fees that we were going to put in place, or that we're recommending be put in place based on what the average town does for fees.
So I'm going to speak on behalf of the bingo,
Mhm.
because I've been a volunteer for 15 years, once a month for bingo. And the bingo that they hold benefits a lot of people in town. We know that. And I know that the money raised goes towards the church, but other things as well, the food pantry, which a lot of people in town benefit from. And they also will do bingos. I think they have an alumni bingo coming up that will benefit the Alumni Association, their scholarship. And they have done project graduation bingos, and it's usually the verifiers that have been doing it for many years, and the volunteers, and all the profits go toward those organizations. So it doesn't just benefit the church, is my point. it kind of spiders out into other ways. And I think the food bank is key, is a key part of that. I would not recommend that we charge them, the fee.
That's that
Just-
topic. Ken, do you have thoughts on that? I know it's an activity for our seniors too.
And it's a,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, yes.
That's-
But it's not
And
just,
not, and
and
not
actually
just
not
seniors,
just
but.
seniors,
not just
because I've seen
seniors.
high school kids, I've seen
Right.
my own kids. But
So
it
an
brings in a
activity for the
huge,
community.
it brings in a huge crowd.
Yeah, I don't see where it would break the town to waive
Okay.
that.
All right,
To continue waiving it.
so we're gonna take that off the table entirely as a question. What do you think about the other fees? And if you want another,
So we're looking to
meeting to digest
reduce,
this.
yeah, I might need another meeting to be able to comprehend this.
you might need several then. It's not, in when you read the statute,
is.
it's just mind blowing.
I might need somebody with a whiteboard and a.
I'm okay if we put it back on
Yeah.
another
sounds-
meeting.
Let's, yeah.
Okay, and then if
don't-
you have
don't
any
mind.
questions for Marie, as the
Exactly.
go-to person, she can answer any of the questions you might have after you take some time to digest it. So it's not an urgent need. When we do make some changes, because if you recall, we made some changes to the building department fees, the fire marshal fees,
Right,
and the animal control fees. So this we need in place too for when we change that schedule of fees with general code, who oversees all of our ordinances and regulations, and they keep it on the online format. So we have to do them all together. So there's some time still. But we want to do that after the first of the
and
year.
why did this come about?
Maria and I have been batting it around for a while now. So, and just, number one, making it known that you're supposed to get a permit before you have a raffle. A lot of organizations don't know that. So it's educating the public, but in doing so, we just evaluated and thought that the fees might be a little too high. So,
If I might interject one
yes,
thing.
absolutely.
And I think it started because of the class 3 bazaar. It was $60 a day for up to 10 consecutive days, which worked when it was St. Joe's having their fair and they were selling over a weekend or however long it was. But when the seniors are doing their tree raffle, charging them $60 just is unreasonable for what they're gonna take in on that tree raffle. Which is why we are recommending reducing that way down to 20, which is what some of the other towns are doing. And when we looked at that, we decided to look at some of the others as well.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Times change.
How many permits do you actually average in a year, Marie? Any idea?
Yep. For bingo, it's typically 3, but they're all St. Joe's. Do you want it by class or just total?
Just how much activity is going through?
Okay, so for this year to date, 10,
Oh, so it's not a
It's
huge.
not,
and last year was 9.
All right, okay.
so it's not a giant money.
Nope.
maker. There are a lot of raffles that slip through the cracks and they never come in for their permit, but,
And we don't, how
don't-
would we
we're
even
not-
enforce that?
right, it's,
No,
we don't want to be policing,
But
but.
actually going back to the town kind of streamlined it and made it a little bit more easier to get a permit and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, coming in the town hall versus going through the state and
Oh, yeah.
that bureaucracy there.
Right. All right, if there's no further discussion on that agenda items, we will move to agenda item 11, which is the results of the 2024 revaluation. And Paul Hopkins is actually here in the building, but he's upstairs because I wanted him to do his presentation on Zoom so we could clip it and then share it with the public. So he's put together an entire presentation on this year's revaluation results. And Paul, at this time, I'll turn it over to you, and your ability to share your screen should be already in place.
Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to make one comment. So in discussions that I've had with some of the residents, I talked to the reval company, and anybody that doesn't have an appointment that does need to just show up and attend one of the hearings, they are going to leave space available for walk-ins. But they will work around the the scheduled appointments to fit those in.
Awesome.
All right, now the fireworks begin. So the general question that we get is what is a revaluation and why do we do it? So a revaluation is really the periodic reassessment or reappraisal of all property, real estate property in town. And what we're doing is we're putting it to the market value. And what we're doing is in general, we're saying that the value that we're placing on it is relative to what the value would be if you were to put your house on the market today. And that's kind of how you have to look at it is the valuation that you received somewhat in the neighborhood of what you would put the house on the market for if you wanted to sell it today. One of the caveats with the reval that generally happens is we only do a reval by statute every 5 years. So generally what happens in a reval is there is a little bit of a shift. As motor vehicles and business personal property are revalued every year. So every year we basically do a revaluation on all our motor vehicles and all our personal property to bring those to current market value. So when we do a revaluation, there is a bit of a shift since those other two categories have already been adjusted on a year-to-year basis, whereas the reval for residential or real estate property is kind of catching up. One of the other things that people are talking about, or I've heard, is that we've never seen these kind of increases in town. So what's going on? So I did a review of the historic growth of the revaluations that have happened in Thompson since 1970. And of the 9, the current rate of change ends 5th. So smack dab in the middle. So because it's periodic, I think what happens is there's a little bit of forgetfulness about what happens during these periods. But generally speaking, what's happening now is typical for what has happened in the past in the town. So it's not something that's new, or the assessments are and have gone out of control. It's typical for what's happened in Thompson at each revaluation cycle. So this year, the revaluation ended up growing the real estate grand list $385 million. And this is a chart that breaks down the categories for how we classify property, and it shows exactly what percentage of the change and where it went. So as you see, residential property went up 61, commercial, it was about 27, industrial was about 19, public utility land, that's property owned by like the water company or CLMP, went up 30. Vacant land went up 82. Use assessments, or what is open space, farm, forest, those types of things, went up 30%. And that usually is generally because of people applying and putting their land into open space, not necessarily a valuation change. And then apartments went up about 28% for an overall change of about 60. And what you may notice is that the vacant land has kind of accessed most of the other categories. And the reason for that is during our review, we noticed that the excess land values, the land above any building lot or non-buildable land or any category that wouldn't be considered buildable, hasn't been valued or hasn't had a change in value in about 15 years. So there was a bit of catch-up work for that one category. So I did a quick breakdown. So the 2023 grand list was 773 million. The amount of taxes we needed to collect was about almost 22 million, which resulted in a mill rate of 28.11. This year, if we simply take that growth number and apply it to last year's budget, the adjusted grand list is just about $1.16 billion. And with that same amount of money needed to collect by the town, that would drop our mill rate roughly to 18.84. So we would be looking at a little over a 9 mil decrease this year because of that grand list growth. The average assessments, one of the key factors that generally people look at is what's happening to the property values. So last year, our residential assessment average was about 155,000. With the new reval, it's just under 248,000. Commercial, last year was about 230, just under 238. This year we were almost to 300,000. And then property, apartments, excuse me, went up about $50,000 on average. So what I did was, this was an interesting slide in that I took streets from around town and we're picking out where the average increases changed and where the dramatic changes were. And unfortunately, what we noticed is that areas with quick access along the Massachusetts border were some of the areas that were hit the hardest. So areas like Quinnebog or the northeast part of East Thompson Road, Dennis Road, anywhere that Bonnet Acres, those areas that were quickly accessible up into Massachusetts seemingly were hit the hardest, which makes sense. What we're seeing from our residents, or what we're hearing from our new residents, is that it's significantly less expensive to move to Thompson, even though we may be only 5, 10, 20 miles south of where they're currently living. They're seeing a drastic value difference. So we're seeing a lot of people moving down into Thompson. And what's happened is, because they're looking at houses that may be north of 700,000, when they get down to Thompson, you know, they're $400,000 now, and they're driving those real estate values incredibly high. The other factor, as you see at the bottom, Rights and Drive, one of the factors that we've seen around town is areas with waterfront have really been hit hard with these new increases. People are paying a high premium to move on to our lakefronts. So I broke down the categories of sales to kind of give an idea of where our sale values are falling. We did have a sale that was analyzed over $1 million, and it was actually over 1.5 million on Quadic Road. That was clearly an anomaly, as we didn't have any sales from about 900,000 to about 1.5 million. But that 700,000 to 900,000, we had 4, 3 in the 600,000s, 9 in the 500,000s, and then we hit really what was kind of the prime area where most of our sales fell, which was 42 in the 400s and 58 in the 300s. So that really was the prime category for property here in Thompson. We did have 12 in the 200,000. What I noted in most of those were houses that were eventually flipped. So these were houses that were bought. There was some investment put into them, and then they went from about a $200,000 or so sale up to about a $400,000 sale. And we typically, that's the category that we saw in that analysis. Under 200,000, we only had 2, and there were exceptions as to why they sold in the condition that they did. So a house valued under 200,000 in Thompson really was not really a plausible item. And these were just sales that I found and relatively around the area to give people an idea as to what was going on. One of the things that we noted as well, and this is an unfortunate part of reval, especially in the current market, is properties that sold relatively reasonable in 2019, meaning they probably sold for 100 to $200,000, were those houses that were now in the $300,000 and $400,000. Houses that sold in 2019 for above 500, they didn't have as a percentage those same drastic sales. They may have still only increased at about 100 to $150,000, but as a percentage of the overall number, the more valuable the property was in 2019, the smaller the percentage impact for those properties. The few of the things that keep popping up, as I mentioned earlier, residual land values had not changed since 2019. So we're getting a lot of questions in regard to why the land values have increased at such a rate that's different from other residential categories. And it is because they haven't been changed in about 15 years. One of the things people haven't really brought up, but it is something that I felt I needed to talk about, was outbuilding values had not changed since the 2004 revaluation. So we had to spend quite a bit of time this summer breaking down what people are paying for their outbuildings, using, various construction and building sites to looking at permits that were taken out to come up with those new rates. One of the other impacts that have happened during this reval is we fully implemented the new zoning changes and the new zoning rules that happened during since the last revaluation. So those categories like property that were in the R80 zone that needed 80,000 square feet as a building lot have now been recalculated down to the RRAD district for most of them. So we've made those changes all across town to make sure that each lot conforms to its current zoning laws. So some of the things, and this really, it's not a category that really makes sense to most people, but there's some state statistics that we go through to make sure that our revaluation conforms to guidelines presented by the Office of Policy and Management through the state. And one of these several of these categories that they look at, and one of the ones that are my favorite is the price related differential. And what this rate talks about is it looks at the difference between the prices of the new, the larger homes relative to the price of the smaller homes. And we need to make sure that they're changing at the same kind of rate as what their sales are changing at. And this is telling us by having it at 1 that we've uniformly presented the values as uniformly as possible, whether your house is 5,000 square feet or your house is 900 square feet, that they are generally presented with the same or a proper rate of change as what the sales have shown. The sold unsold test. So the question arises, well, you've just changed the sales parcels to make sure that they conform to what the sales have said. So what this one does is it takes into consideration those parcels that have had sales opposed to the ones that have not had sales, and made sure that we are presenting those with the same rates of change relative to their general categories as all of the parcels across town. So what this is saying is basically that we've presented the sold properties in the same light as the properties that have not sold. So that way, everybody is being treated fairly when it comes to these categories. So the mean is the average of sales assessment. So what this says is relative to our sales as a whole, we have presented our values at 98% of its sales price. So it means we're about 2% low on on an average from what the sales price is, which is typical. The state usually says 10% from our assessment rate, so we are well within our category for making sure that our values are changing representative of their sales. A median is the midpoint. That's of all the sales set, it's just the center point, and it's another representation that we're just a few percentage points off from what everybody's sales prices are. As you'll see at 97%, this one's saying we're about 3% low. So that's typically where you want to be. You want to be 2%, 3%, something like that, lower than what the sales are. So that way you're not really going aggressively after those higher values. This is just a quick slide on the company that we have used as part of the revaluation services. Just a quick slide that goes over the company and the three primary people that have helped conduct our revaluation with me. Mike Fazio, who's the president. Mike and Chris are the presidents. Mike's 41 years, Chris is 39. Mike did the residential side, Chris did our commercial, industrial, and David did our unique properties. So he did the golf courses and a few other specialized categories that we had to do, like our Mason House and Lord Thompson Manor and things like that. A quick little write-up. The three of them are MAIs, which is generally mentioned as the most elite category for a independent appraiser. So we did hire the best crew available as part of our reval to make sure that we did get the best results possible. So this is really not about the revaluation, but it's going to have an impact. So I wanted to bring it up as part of the quick presentation. We have a new motor vehicle law that goes into place this year. So in the past, how we valued our motor vehicles is we used the JD Power NADA pricing guide. And from that, we selected the clean retail price. So on a year-to-year basis, motor vehicles changed with the market. So much like a real estate market that you're doing during a revaluation, every year we changed our motor vehicles to be the most current likely sales price for those vehicles. The state just passed the law that we will be changing how we value motor vehicles going forward. And starting this year, we will be using the MSRP. And there will be a depreciation schedule set by the state in regards to that MSRP. So starting year one, we're at 85% of the MSRP will be your new assessment, and it will drop continuously until the vehicle reaches about 20 years of age. What I'm seeing in some of the samples that I pulled and tests that I've done is we might see a lower motor vehicle grand list, which means that there's a potential shift to our real estate grand list because of that. What people will need to take into consideration when they do get their tax bills this year is they will have to look at it as a whole. Most likely, a lot of people with vehicles that are a little bit more modest in price or age may see a significant drop in their motor vehicle tax. And because there's a shift, what's happening is you may be paying less in your motor vehicles. So that has to be made up somewhere. So the other categories, one being personal property and the other being real estate, will make up for those potential shortcomings. The state is behind in issuing the list, the motor vehicle list to us, so we can get started pricing. Usually the motor vehicle list is in our office, usually by the end of the first week of November. And we still don't have it, although we did get a notification from the DMV that it should be coming shortly. So hopefully that will be coming soon. So I'll be able to have numbers that'll go over that detail. And generally, that's it. It was hopefully not too long and painful. I really wanted to keep it short and sweet just to give everybody a quick bullet point about what was going on. So I'll take any questions. I'm in the office upstairs if anybody wants to discuss it, but I'm always here, or generally always here. So anybody that has any questions, concerns, feel free to come in and we'll do our best to help everybody work through them.
A quick question for you, Paul. What is the response for requesting a review?
So as of this morning, when they kicked them off, we had 90 scheduled appeals.
And
Yowza.
we still have a couple days to go
Correct. Yep,
that they can appeal.
correct.
One, which is okay. One of the other things that maybe we could note for in 5 years from now, you know, when you came out with the amount of money, it hit me the other day after I had gotten your package here and thinking about it, was you show the increase of the 70% above.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sure you got a lot of calls about what's my tax bill gonna be? You know, the increase based on that. Is there a formula or something when you put that together with those letters you send out that you could put down the estimated increase at the same time?
We could, it's not something that we generally we've ever done, but it may be beneficial in to let everybody know an estimate. Because right, what everybody's doing right now is they're taking that 28.11 mils,
Mm-hmm.
calculating their old assessment on it, they're calculating their new assessment on it, and they're saying, oh my God, I'm going to pay 60% more in taxes.
Correct.
And when really that's not the case. So what generally happens during a revaluation is you'll get a section of the town, about a third, that's had an above average, a significantly above average switch to their assessment, who will probably pay some form of more of the burden. You'll have a third that stays roughly the same within a few $100s. And then conversely, on that other third bottom row, you'll have a third of the town that pays less because the burden's been shifted off of them because their increases weren't as significant as some of the other sections of town. So really it's not an increase in tax, it's just an increase or a shift in the burden of where people are paying. So if you're in one of those sections like I talked about that may be up along the northern border, or your house is along the one of the lakes, you may take on a bit of a extra burden, where somebody in the southern part of town, say along West Thompson Road or you know, County Home Road or something like that, may have a shift away from their general increase, so they may see a little bit of a less of a burden during this tax cycle.
I will note too that in the spring, Paul, you had done an informational session, which was really valuable. What did you do? About 3 of those? And we did record them.
Yep.
We did an evening one.
Yeah.
And he would, in that, he really explained what revaluation was about. So maybe I can dig up the recording for that. And maybe we can share that again to calm people's fears, because there's been a lot of fear. Because of the, oh my gosh, my bill went up 60%, so my taxes are gonna go up 60%. And
Right.
just helping the public understand that that's not the case.
Right.
As much as we can, so.
Right. And anybody that calls, both Maggie and I, you know, we do our best to explain the details of what's going on during the revaluation process. They do have several venues that they can discuss. I won't say appeal or argue, but they can have an appointment with the revaluation company. They can come in and talk to us. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure that the numbers are as accurate as possible. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, they most certainly can come in and discuss it with me. And if I feel that they make a valid argument, I can make those changes as needed. And then come February and March, people can apply to the Board of Assessment Appeals if they still feel that their argument has not been heard properly. So they will be able to meet with the Board of Assessors and see if they'll be able to make it some type of adjustment for them as well.
Paul, how do they apply for that? Is that something they have to do now, or is it
The application,
just
yep,
open up in February?
it only opens in February by statute. They have to apply between February 1st and February 20th. And then
Okay.
we'll schedule the appeals during the month of March.
Okay, so we'll get that blasted out there before sometime in January.
And that's an application that is found on our website, or I mean, on our Facebook and our website.
The
So it's
application.
it's
For
right.
the
So it'll
Board
be
of
on the
Assessment
website. It's
Appeals.
not up to date this yet because it's not close to the February timeframe. But when February gets closer, we'll update the website so they can pull down those Board of Assessment Appeals applications.
Great. All right.
Paul, nice job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks,
Ve-
Paul.
Very informative.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 12, solar project 77 Pompeo Road. At our last Board of Selectmen meeting, Rainey Moran had spoken during the citizen comments. At which time I had told him that we would put this on the agenda. So we could have a discussion. He had asked us plainly if we would, well, I'll let him explain. You're on, Rainey.
Sure. Thank you. I'm here tonight again with Paul Gilbert, rating 130 Pompeo Road, North Philadelphia. I'm here with Paul Gilbert, who lives at 78 Pompeo Road, directly across the street from 77 Pompeo Road, where the proposed solar project is proposed to be built. We represent about 77 homeowners on Pompeo Road who live on a scenic road, and an additional 30, 35, maybe 36 homes that are within a quarter of a mile from the location of this proposed project. So we're here tonight for a very simple question. Very simple request, I guess, so that would be asking the Board of Selectmen to do something similar to what the Conservation Commission in the town of Thompson and the Inland Wetlands Commission in the town of Thompson have already done, and that is to respond to the Siting Council, asking for this project to be eliminated, primarily, and for a lot of reasons, but primarily because it sits on a scenic road, and to the best of our knowledge, and we've had people who are a lot smarter, certainly than I am, not speaking for Paul here, but who do this kind of stuff, have researched it and have found no other scenic roads in the state of Connecticut that have a solar field on them, and no other state roads, you know, like a 169 or 171 that have a solar field on them. So this would be the first time in the history of the state of Connecticut that a solar field would be placed on a scenic road. Not only is it on a scenic road, but it is as close to the road as I am to where Amy is sitting right now. It would be devastating to everyone who lives along scenic road, and it would essentially mean that we no longer have Pompeo Road designated as a scenic road. There's a good reason that it was designated as a scenic road a few years ago, because it is a very scenic road, and that was proven beyond a reasonable doubt, I guess, if I was an attorney, that it deserved to be considered a scenic road. And the anticipation was that that would protect it for, forever, for generations and generations to come. So we're here today to ask for just a simple letter to the siting council, indicating that the Board of Selectmen would like this proposal to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Eliminated, to be, what's the right word? Help me out. Not to happen.
Right.
Eradicated.
Eradicate, that's a good word. So, a couple things I want to point out. What is a safe distance to live from a solar farm? This is right from the information that they sent the selectmen and whoever else got this.
Who sent?
Back on October 3rd, and I'll remind you that on October 3rd, only about 5.5 weeks ago, that is when the town found out that there was going to be a proposal, a 2.95 megawatt proposal on Pompey Road. And this plan had been being worked on since April 21st, 2021, for 3.5 years. So there had to be some people in this town hall who knew about this a long time ago. I'm convinced there are.
But, okay, wait, I have to stop you, Rainey.
Okay,
To make those innuendos, is it true that that the reason we pushed, or it was pushed for a scenic road, because there was rumblings of this solar farm?
no, of course they were.
Right,
Of
but,
course.
and that triggered
But
the
everybody,
movement to
but
make it a
everybody who
scenic road.
was
It
quizzed
wasn't
on
that,
that
but-
in the town hall said, no, absolutely not. I'll leave it at that.
Well, this is
So
the
what is
first
it-
that I've heard.
Where did this information come from?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Right, That wasn't
And
sent to
I can
us.
give you a copy of it. It's
No,
but it
comes
wasn't,
from the Go Solar Alliance Solar Company, dated July 26, 2023. And it says, what is a safe distance to live from a solar farm?
yeah.
A safe distance to live from a solar farm, according to the World Health Organization, there is no significant research that proves living near a solar farm is harmful due to EMF exposure. Still, in general, solar farms are required to be built at least 3 kilometers or 1.86 miles from a residential area. It is a good idea to know if it's a large or small scale. Typically, it's recommended to live at least 0.3 of a mile from any solar panel. Potential risk when living near a solar farm. There is the potential for noise concerns, and there's a whole paragraph on that. Glare and light pollution, a whole paragraph on that. Possible EMF exposure, whole paragraph on that. Land use and habitat destructions, a whole paragraph on that. You can find probably 10 of these written proposals and find 5 of them that say something similar to this and 5 that say something not similar to this. However, it really boils down to, does the Board of Selectmen want to make sure that there's no scenic road, there's no solar farm built on a scenic road in Thompson. That's really what it boils down to. You've got one individual who owns this property. He's not a resident of Thompson, resident of Florida. Spends, 5 months or so living in Thompson. We have at least a dozen letters that have been sent to the siting council from residents of Pompey Road indicating that it is just, how would you like to live from me to Amy looking at solar panels every day for the rest of your life? People have lived on Pompey Road for 20, 30, 40 years, generations. 2 of the homes are being surrounded by panels. Paul for one, and Mrs. Menard, who lives at 35, I think it is, Pompey Road. So we're just asking if the Board of Selectmen would consider on behalf of overwhelming amount of citizens for their protection and for the protection of a scenic road to ask for this, that the Board of Selectmen is against this proposal to be built. The other concern is that if this were to happen, that's 160 acre or so parcel that they own. They're proposing this plan on about 16 acres. If this happens, that opens it up to the other 140 or so acres that are left there. So we feel that it's important to stop this project before it gets out of control and out of hand. We see no benefits from it. None of us are against solar fields. We're against solar fields that are within sight from where we live, where you're gonna be able to hear the noise, where you're gonna be able to, you don't know what's going on in the groundwater. There's a lot of information, bad information about that in here. I would say this is similar to Camp Lejeune, where, back in the 50s, soldiers and the Marines were at Camp Lejeune drinking the water like they, like they didn't know that 10, 15, 20, 40 years down the road, they were all gonna be sick and die from that. This is the same thing. You can read as many different opinions on solar fields, and you're not gonna get all of them to say the same thing. There's more concern about the long-term aspect of this than there is no concern. And those of us who live on Pompey Road are very concerned. It's easy enough for somebody who lives on Fairview Drive to say that they're in favor of it. They don't ever have to drive by it. They don't live close to it. Not a concern to them. It would not be a concern to us if it was not on a scenic road that you could see those solar panels from Pompey Road. So it's just a request. I feel like I'm been thrown under the bus here because I'm the one that's always coming to talk about this. But again, I represent a lot of people, and they've asked me to come and speak on their behalf. So that's why I'm here. I hate being here asking for this. I wish this had never happened, and it's unfortunate that it happened. I think it could have been stopped. And one of the things that's very important to note that I want to read to you, it says here, solar developers, 3.5 years ago, started this project. Solar developers should work closely with local residents when selecting sites and placing equipment. We didn't know about it until 6 weeks ago. It's been going on for 3.5 years. So I asked the Board of Selectmen to consider a simple letter to the siting council that says, while we don't object to solar fields in Thompson, we object to it at the location where it is because it's very potentially dangerous for the homeowners there.
Well, I think, so Rainey and I have had conversations back and forth, and I did request the public hearing. Because I thought it was important if residents wanted to comment, they could. There was also an open comment period. So I want to point out that we are beyond the actual written comment period for them to accept anything. So even if we were to write something,
No, I believe that, I believe that was extended.
okay, then I'll double check on that.
I believe it's November 30th.
But I will say also, I struggle with this, and I shared it with Rainey.
Yep.
This is somebody's private property. We live in a town that refuses to have blight ordinances because you're not gonna tell me what I can do on my property. I think we also had the conversation that you thought it wouldn't be bad, there wouldn't be any dispute over it if it was just further in. There's 160 acres there. Why does it have to be right close to the road? And those are things that I think the siting council will take under consideration. In this study that you shared with us, it said, because you're skipping, the benefits of living close to a solar farm. While noise, glare, and other factors could be considered or should be considered, there are unique benefits to living near a solar installation. Some advantages include great views of a unique modern energy plant. Some people find solar farms interesting and visually appealing. This is the same article that you gave us, though.
Agreed.
Property values increase. Some studies, and we talked about that too, because there are studies that say it's bad and studies that say it's good. So it's yet to be determined because it's still new technology. Some studies show solar farms boost nearby home values while others show no impact. And then obviously contribution to cleaner local energy. One of the things that came up at a recent last night's conservation meeting was just the question of, and I think this needs to be answered during the public comment period, potentially, is what happens to the solar panels 30 years from now?
Mhm.
Do we end up with a site that's left
Dumping ground
unkept
for,
and
yeah.
nobody comes back to clean it up? Those are,
with
and but,
lithium batteries that,
right. And this isn't the first solar field that's come to the town. We have the one off of Ballard Road, there's another one off of Riverside Drive. Interesting enough, this would put this land back onto the grand list. Because currently the land sits in open space, so this section of the land, as long as it doesn't join a net zero metering agreement with like a municipality or something like that, the equipment would be taxed as well as the property taxed at a full commercial rate. So
there is a benefit.
there is a slight benefit to
Well,
switching it,
I-
but still, I think that the siting council, and if enough people show up and speak, because we need more than you in this meeting, we've seen what numbers do. When you have people signing up to speak, and it really should be the pressure, because we don't know that the siting council is going to care if you just don't like the way it looks. But if we can really push for it to be moved inward with appropriate
Boundaries or.
boundaries, to
Certain.
block the site to make it less visually,
Did you
There's
say?
buffers that possibly could
Yes.
be
Yes.
put in,
and
Thank
did-
you, that
if
was
it was approved,
right,
and we
if,
don't.
Tall trees.
I just jotted down some quick questions,
Yep.
being objective here. And I have no idea. What would the taxes be from the solar field? I have no idea, because you did put down to be let me finish reading, please. That you estimated $67,000 in depreciation and, with the property going down. You're looking at what would we get from that? I'd like to see the letters that were sent to the siting council for Midlands Wetlands and Conservation
That's what I
as to
was
what
trying to ask.
their concerns were, because the board hasn't seen them.
That's
you
what
know,
I was looking for.
Uh,
too.
and, does the P and Z regs even allow this?
Mhm.
I'm going to assume that it does. And if P and Z is allowing that usage of the property, they still have, overall control over
Right.
restrictions that can be put onto the property. Any program that goes on, they can say, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, so many feet back, etc. Because it happens all the time when you
The-
sit in on these meetings.
you talking about
P&Z.
zoning, P and Z does not have any jurisdiction on this. And it was
At all.
confirmed by the town
Okay.
attorney, yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And,
interesting.
and the other thing that I'm looking at, and getting back, and she did mention it, and I'm just pointing out things. It is a person's piece of property. He's trying to do what he wishes to do to benefit him. Now, even in the town, what would be the impact of this land, all 160 acres are sold for housing?
Stealing my thoughts.
Okay? 160 acres potential, because I don't know the layout, how much is inlands, wetlands, but based on the regs, let's say they put in 150 houses there. 150 houses, two kids per house, 300 kids at $20,000 a year for education, times 12 is $250,000 at today's expenses. Start adding that up over what the impact would be on the town. So there's so many questions here. You know, variables that I don't have the answer to even know which way to go with it.
It's not even counting, but that's not even counting special education and added on.
Exactly, that may be coming
Additional
in.
costs.
And then, if it's a subdivision that is done, we end up accepting the road and there's more cost on that. I mean, there's so much here. Let me finish, is pray that the siding council goes by their rules and regulations and says, this is not a place to put this.
I will say, because you asked about so wetlands did not send a letter, it did not come directly from wetlands. Conservation, so Dakota LaFountain is the assistant to Melanie Bachman, I think it's Melanie Bachman. And she's been sending me all the correspondence that they've received. Conservation sent a letter. Happy to read. Let me just see if I think they attached it. Yes. The Thompson Conservation Commission offers the following comment regarding petition 1643. On April 17th, 1990, the town of Thompson adopted a scenic road ordinance pursuant to the provisions Connecticut General Statutes. The ordinance defines roads eligible for scenic road designation as those town roads which are free of intensive commercial development and intensive vehicular traffic, which meet at least one of the following criteria. It is unpaved, it's bordered by matured trees, stone walls. The travel portion is no more than 20 feet in width. It offers scenic views. It blends naturally into the surrounding terrain, and it parallels or crosses over brooks, streams, lakes, or ponds. The ordinance further authorizes the Planning and Zoning Commission to designate town highways or portions of highways as scenic roads. On May 23rd, 2023, the Thompson Planning and Zoning Commission voted to designate Pompeo Road as a scenic road following a public hearing to consider application PZC 23-14 to request the designation of Pompeo Road as a scenic road according to the Town of Thompson ordinance. It is the opinion of the Thompson Conservation Commission that this petition is inconsistent with both the intent and definition of the scenic road as stated in Thompson's Scenic Road Ordinance. And that was signed by Judy Rondo, who's currently the chair.
So I believe.
And that was a
helpful.
vote, and that was a vote that the
sure, it
Conservation
would be.
Commission, or is
Yeah,
that just from the? Okay.
They agreed to send that. So.
I'm not a huge fan of solar fields. That's my personal opinion, because
Fan of what?
solar fields, solar batteries, lithium, the mining of lithium is the disposal of it afterwards. There's a lot of negatives. It heats up the ground. It's not as environmentally safe as they claim. I've looked into this prior to this. However, if I purchased or I owned that land, I would want to be able to do what's within my right to do. And I kind of have to stand with that. I don't know that this, how anyone else on this board feels, but that's a tough one. That's putting us in a really tough position because we represent the landowner as well.
You represent one landowner who lives in Florida.
How long have they owned the
where
property
you've got
for?
130 homes that are.
But how
across
long have they owned the
4 miles
property for?
From, so.
Been in the family a long time.
A very long time. Deep roots in this town. It's, and I hear what you're saying, and I believe you that there's more people that are behind you, but I only see 2 in front of me. And I gotta be honest.
How many have you seen in front of you who are in favor of this proposal?
I haven't seen any, but
We
are
haven't
they,
asked anybody to come to these meetings.
are they aware? Is the landowner aware that you're petitioning to have this stopped? Right. They may not know. They may, be willing to come and have a
I
different
would
view
think it
on it.
would be up to the landowner to stay on top of that.
And
As far as getting back to Ken's comment about, what are we going to get from it? I think we're gonna get very little taxation, excuse me, from it. and Paul's still online here, and I have spoken to Paul about that, a while ago. And apparently, I believe it was just a difference in land going from open space to, and only those 16 acres going from open space to whatever it would be called now, commercial, I guess. And I think if I remember correctly, Paul could correct me, I thought he said in the $20,000 range would be the additional amount of tax income, where a very conservative estimate that I did based on, again, discussions with Paul, and again, these numbers can be all over the place. You have some publications that tell you people who are where we all are gonna lose 20-30% of the value of their property, and others that say significantly less. So I based my estimate extremely conservatively and came up with about $67,000 of lost revenue. So even if you picked up $20,000 of more revenue from the landowner, it's still, it's still a loss of roughly $50,000. And it could be 40,000, it could be 140,000, but the town isn't gonna gain any tax revenue from this project. And I know some people think that's the case. Wow, the town's gonna make a lot of money now with this big solar field there. That's not the case.
Paul, since you're still in the Zoom audience, do we have a comparison to, how does this compare to the Riverside Drive? And you're on mute still. Just gotta unmute yourself.
So I just quickly pulled up, so the one that's gonna be most comparable is Saywat, which is over off of old Route 12. It's
Oh.
gonna be a little bit smaller, but relatively speaking, their taxes for the new reval, and I'm estimating at that the lower in, the smaller mill rate. So the land will be about, we'll say slightly less than 9,000. And I'm pulling up their personal property, which is where the
equipment.
right, where the solar panels themselves get taxed. Just give me 1 second. I'll have it up in about 30 seconds. So looking at their total assessment, that one is about their solar panel size is the same. So we're probably looking, the revenue generated out of that Saywat plant is, that one specifically is about $20,000.
And as far as the devaluation of surrounding properties, tough to
So-
estimate that at this point, but we've got 5 years before it gets revalued again.
Well, no, because people are going to argue that, in regards to even these factors, that's going to depreciate their value. And talking to Rainey, there were several properties that are going to be possibly surrounded by the entire solar array, which I would imagine that those properties would have some significant changes. Generally speaking, properties adjacent to industrial sites typically do have depreciation in value, even though this isn't a typical industrial site. And then the study, and again, this is just, real estate studies that are done by solar place companies, but they did the data and they said within a half mile, I think the numbers were about 5% reduction, and 3% after a half mile up to a mile. But Rainey is right, and I looked into it too. There are no, in this general area anyway, I asked around, there's no general solar farms built in a mainly residential area. We have two in our town, and neither of those could you see from the road. The Barrett Farm one you can see from the highway, but if you're out driving along just our regular roads, you'll be hard pressed to find it.
if I may?
Yeah.
I've also visited solar farms besides the two that are in town here that Paul's right, unless you know that they're there, you're not gonna know they're there. I visited the one in East Putnam, same thing, way off the road. You can go by there for the rest of your life and never know that there's a solar field out there. The one in Brooklyn, the one in Pomfret, the old Tar Farm. Everyone that, and people who have researched this for us, everyone is in an area where it cannot be seen from a regular road, never mind being seen from a scenic road. It seems to me it's a slam dunk, and I'm not sure why everybody isn't quite seeing it that way. I think if you lived from me to you, me to the three of you, from the solar field, you'd certainly feel like we all feel. And again, I'm not trying to be a bad guy here. I'm the one that's been asked to champion this based on the residents of Pompeo Road. And there are a lot of residents that are very concerned about it. We have asked them, maybe it's a mistake that we made, that we didn't tell them to come to these meetings. We told them you need to be prepared for the public hearing.
We always thought that the siting council had the final say on everything anyway, so it doesn't matter what happens in these meetings.
And I'm assuming that the siting council has the final say.
Right.
They do.
And I don't know what the impact would be to have a letter from the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, I think it would have a great impact, because we've been listening in, a bunch of us from Pompeo Road and Buckley Hill and other roads in the area, have been listening into their last 2 or 3 monthly meetings that they've had. And you'd be surprised how much input, how much influence the decisions are based on what information that they're getting from the local towns and the residents surrounding it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, the last hearing on November 17th, I think it was, they rejected 2 applications because they were too close to the road. They weren't even scenic roads. 2 applications, and
They were within 71 feet.
it was 71 feet, just essentially
Wow.
about what Paul is, never mind what poor Mrs. Menard
That's
is.
probably 20 feet.
Yeah. So they do listen. I believe that these determinations, like everything else in the world happens, I believe the executive director, Melody Bachman, gets all of this information, processes it, makes a recommendation to the chair of the siting council. And when the siting council meets, they essentially go along with the recommendation that the executive director did. I mean, we saw that happen twice this last month. Those siting council members, there are 7 of them, they don't even live in Connecticut. One of them lives in Washington, one lives in Baltimore. They've never been to town. They've never probably been to Northeastern Connecticut. They have no idea what we're talking about. So they have to be taking their direction from somebody. And I think that they're taking it, it seems to me at least, that they're taking it from Melody Bachman, the executive director. That's what I've noticed, what we've noticed.
I personally believe that the public official comment period is done. I'll check to see if it's extended, but I will not step on the rights of a property owner. I just won't. But I think it would be prudent to, if we decided we wanted to say anything, I think just saying to be thoughtful in the placement, to be thoughtful and considerate of the fact that it is a scenic road. I'm not going to absolutely oppose it, but I know Rainey and I had talked, if it was further away from the road, so that it was less visible.
Or it couldn't be.
But they might be considering that
Did
anyway.
Did we get any kind of a plan? I don't.
It's at the town clerk's office.
There is a
in the town,
plan,
yeah.
and
Is-
It's on
That-
file.
We got somebody from P and Z. Have you guys seen it?
Just a picture of them by.
It doesn't get presented. It's totally in the hands of the siting council,
We did get there was a picture, of the road where they want to put.
but it's
that.
all on file with the town clerk.
Jerry, to be honest with you, I think if I didn't work in this building, I don't think anybody would have known, because on October third, the letter was received from the selectman's office. And thank goodness, Amy knows I live on Pompey Road, and I would be concerned about that. She brought it to me immediately. And I'm so grateful that you did that, Amy. But I think if you hadn't done that, I don't think anyone in town, none of the commissions, P and Z, planning, zoning, inland wetland, I don't think anybody would have known this was happening until after it happened. I think that's probably the game that those guys play.
Well, I can't say that I've
Who's
necessarily.
those guys, the landowner or the
Citing
solar
council.
field?
Probably the solar.
piece.
Yeah.
Who's the solar company that's working on this?
C-Tech?
C-Tech, incorporated from Bloomfield.
Yeah, C dash
get my
T C
charger.
H. Incorporated, C Tech. You know, there's a problem with the road access in the construction of the solar field. The road on Pompey Road is very narrow. I don't know how they're gonna get equipment up and down that road without causing problems.
Go ahead, Rick.
Randy, if I was you, Randy,
Yeah,
I'd go to go around, write up a petition, and you go to everybody in town and you have that signed, you have that all signed, and then you get that mailed into them people as soon as possible. You should get a petition, everybody on Pompeo Road, everybody on every road around, you guys ought to go out every day knocking on doors and then get that mailed in.
we did that.
But I'm not talking just from you guys, from everybody in the whole town. It's just my opinion.
But you know what? Somebody from Fairway Drive sent a letter saying they thought it was a great idea. You know, and if you're not directly impacted, if you're not living on that scenic road or living a half a mile or a quarter of a mile from the proposal, not really a big deal to you. So I'm not so sure that, I know most everyone on Pompey Road and in the surrounding area, there are 130 homes, 260 voters in town. One person who owns the property who's not a voter in town, certainly feels strongly about not having a solar.
Technically, he is a voter in town. Because if you own property, you can vote on the budget.
I stand
But-
corrected, you're right about that, I should know that. I'm a tax collector.
I-
should know that.
I'm conflicted about telling a property owner what they can do on their land. And I had the same concerns is if it were me, I would get ticked off. Okay, you don't want my solar fields, then I'm gonna sell my property and to a developer and you're gonna end up with houses or housing in front of you.
So is the reason that the Board of Selectmen is hesitant to write a
That's
letter?
my opinion.
Well, I've heard it
I'm-
twice now tonight. The Board of Selectmen is hesitant about not coming out and totally objecting to this because they're afraid of housing coming.
I'm not
in?
afraid of anything. I'm representing the property owner. And I feel that if I tell you that you can't put solar panels up, then maybe you're gonna wanna put a shed up and, P and Z, then the Board of Selectmen is gonna start endorsing no sheds or no, it's your right and it's your property and he's the one who owns it and has for years and he's paying taxes on it.
I don't want to be
I don't-
argumentative, but I think there's a big difference between a 2.95 solar field and a shed. I'll leave it at that. I think those are.
There is a
Leave it at that.
difference, but it's a property's owner right to, in a legal manner, to generate income for themselves. And as a board, I don't think it's appropriate for us to take that right away from somebody. To
But
make
it's-
suggestions to say, let's be reasonable about this. I'm happy to say that,
And I'm
let's be
okay-
reasonable,
and
but I'm
I'm
not gonna absolutely vote for something that is technically, they have the right to do.
And I'm okay with that, Amy
Right.
and Suzanne and Ken. However, on one hand, you're saying you don't want to tell one property owner that he can't do something, he can't generate some income on his land. However, you're willing to tell 130 property owners that they're gonna lose a lot of value on their property.
That hasn't,
I think you heard the assessor.
number
You
one,
know, I've got a very conservative estimate there.
we don't know if they're still taking,
I believe it's.
I'm just saying,
I'll check.
November 30th.
you know,
And each of us, we don't even have to do it as a board, we could just do it as.
no,
selectmen if
I
we
could
want
see
to
the
say it.
board sending some information to the siding council, expressing the concerns that have been presented, visible buffers, scenic road, etc. You know, the rights of the property owner, you know, trying to do what they can to, you know,
And,
we're walking a very fine line here.
and strongly to
You're right.
consider,
The
thoughtfully consider these
impacts and
impacts.
Ramifications.
yeah.
Cause it is a
And-
beautiful road.
And they
that's a
may be
beautiful
able
park.
to
And it won't be.
push it back.
And it won't be considered a scenic road anymore if there's a solar farm. If these-
They can put a solar farm on a scenic road, that's my concern.
I'm sorry,
Because it says it just can't be.
why are there none in this,
What was the word? Go ahead, Rain.
why are there none in the state of Connecticut now? I believe that the developer, when he was first approached in April of 2021, didn't know that this was a scenic, it wasn't a scenic road.
It wasn't at the time.
But since then, for the last year or so, I mean, they're there almost every day doing work out in the field and getting stuff put together already, even though they haven't even had a hearing on it yet. They damn well see the sign scenic road. They've known for a long time that it's a scenic road. I don't believe that the siting council of Melanie Bachman, the executive director at the siting council, knew that that was a scenic road until we objected to it and put it strongly in our communications to them right after Amy gave me that letter the first week of October. I think that changed everything, and we won't know for sure until the hearing, but I'm thinking one little urge from the chief operating board of the town, Board of Selectmen, saying, I don't think it's a good idea. We don't object to it in many places in the community. There is a lot of land in the community where you could have solar farms.
Well, I will not object to it. I will caution just that they be thoughtful
Concerns.
of the type of road, but that's.
That's a good compromise, I think.
I would agree to that.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
Right.
I mentioned how I mentioned it, that
Mhm.
they have their rules, their regulations, and
I think if we
impact.
say nothing, then it's like the board is in favor of it, at least if you
Yeah.
caution them.
okay, I definitely would talk to town council.
Yeah,
One of the other things that we have to be careful with is that we don't open the town up to suits.
Right,
As well.
exactly.
You don't know what?
lawsuit.
Lawsuits as well,
Right,
because that affects the taxpayers of the budget
Yeah.
as a whole.
yeah, if we were to take a stand or make a comment, it probably would be best to run that by the town attorney as
Absolutely.
well. Good point, Ken.
Like,
So,
that's good thought that I didn't even think of.
right,
So a little bit of
little
Homework,
research.
little
We
research.
only, well, we got about, well, we have until January 16th technically, but not really. Yeah, I'll do a little research and I'll report back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we can hold a special meeting,
Okay,
but along the guidelines, you know, people have expressed their concerns.
Mhm.
You know, and
sounds good.
Just one more quick comment.
Sure.
I ended by saying, Ken, would you like to live from meeting where you are right now to a solar field? Suzanne, would you like to live from me to you to a solar field and get up every morning and see those solar panels for eternity, for the rest of your life?
I already
Amy?
told
Don't
you I'm
ask
not
me,
a fan.
you know where I live. So just remember what I wake up to already.
Yeah, well, that's-
Just gonna leave it
I
at.
believe me, Rainey, I'm not a fan of solar
That's
fields
leading a,
or solar.
but again, Randy, just with that. You know, I understand your concerns and the fact that the scenic road. You know. It would be difficult, and we'll let it go at that. Seeing it, but there's nothing, you know, we don't know what the siting council. If they approve it, they could push it back, they could put up
Right.
certain barriers, so you're not seeing this thing. There's so many things that we don't know and what the power of the siting council has.
Well, they have the final say, so.
Right.
Yeah.
you know, whatever they say goes.
But, you know,
So our fight is with the siting council.
most of it is,
It's not a fight with the board of selectmen.
No,
It's a-
we have
Anyone in
been,
town.
we have been sending letters to
Yeah.
them, certified mail, blah, blah, blah.
Good.
but,
Good.
you know,
Not just me, not just Renee,
A lot of
several
us.
people. Fellow residents. And
And
there are 11 single-family homes directly across from 77.
I'm familiar with Pompeo Road.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of houses there.
Yeah.
And it is a scenic road. Just to me, it just boils down to that.
And that may be enough to sway the siting council,
Right.
maybe,
very possible.
but I guess I owed it to the other residents of Pompey Road who asked me to come and talk to the board of selectmen, like they asked me to go to the planning commission and the inland wetlands, so I'm just doing my due diligence. I'm not angry at anyone, I'm not, you know, still gonna be here at work tomorrow. But I needed to do my due diligence.
Well, I love your passion.
Mhm.
And honestly, if I lived on Pompeo Road, I'd be sitting right there with you.
Thank you.
Because it is a beautiful road. And the last thing I'd want to get up in the morning and see is solar fields. I'd want to see exactly what I'm seeing. But does it fall on the Board of Selectmen to send the letter to dictate what happens on somebody's property? That's where I'm conflicted.
That's why I think Amy's suggestion about
Just expressing our concerns.
expressing the concern.
And the
I think that
impact
makes
it would
perfect
have.
I
sense.
think what you said about the lawyer, possibly, you know.
Yeah, we need to look into liability.
You don't want that bad.
Right.
And so if you just keep it as a suggestion. I think that's the proper way to do it.
I think that's a healthy compromise.
I'll get information.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Good
Thanks for coming.
discussion.
That was a good discussion, yeah.
Yep.
Was.
Yeah.
We haven't had one of these meetings,
I know.
and we still got a third of the agenda to go yet.
Tired.
All right, we can move through a few of the next one, the next step. All right, request to purchase 5 lots of Town of Thompson land on Woodland Ave. So this is in the Little Pond
Yep.
area. So they're requesting 5. You should have gotten this too, but there's so many more. I
Uh,
feel like it's a whole package.
Well,
But the process would be to pass it on to P and Z if we so chose.
well, P and Z's got to,
Yes, they have to
Authorize
sign
it.
off on it.
and the only other thing would be, what's the proper process for making the land available?
Correct.
It should go up for bid, you know,
I
so other public can,
believe it goes up to
Are these
bid.
buildable lots?
Yeah.
well, if you put enough
What
lots
is-
together, it can be
It
built,
can be buildable.
even though it's on an unapproved
Oh,
road,
Paul shared this with me.
okay? So,
Paul, do you remember this? I'm so glad you're still in this meeting.
Yeah, I
Our
remember.
discussion, technically, because of the land this person, Mr. Jezerski, already owns, he could divide it. Refresh my memory.
So these are adjacent to a current building built, lot that's built upon. None of them in and of themselves are buildable, but if you were to combine just that grouping along the road, you would be able to get 3 building lots out of it. That's with the caveat that that is a private road that's they're attached to. So if somebody bought them independently off the town, would they then be buildable? Questionable. But if this person obtained it, they could use the shared driveway regulations and definitely make houses back there.
Utilizing the
The shared-
property that he
I
already
heard
owns.
something about.
Correct, usually using the property that they already own.
Because he does own the first 4 parcels,
Hmm.
so.
Ray, did you want to make a comment?
I would like to make a comment on this.
Would that be okay?
Sure.
Ray Williams, Port of Plain Road, about 2 years ago, if you go back through the minutes for the inland wetlands that are the inland wetlands, they said that all of them lots back there, the town should not get rid of them lots. It's the inland wetlands officer, I'm not throwing names out, but there was a comment that she made a while back that all of them lots should stay
undeveloped all back there, that the town should not get rid of them. And that was, she highly recommended that, it was like 2 years ago. That's one of the reasons.
And
why I
that,
came.
and that could be part of the.
I'm not sure, you know, if you guys
leaching
want
into
to look
the-
back into that, or you just want to
Sure.
disregard, but, you know, she
Sure.
was a very, respected person in her opinions in this town, and she did say that, it's in the minutes of a meeting, I read them myself.
Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, the first 4 parcels that this resident owns. Did those equal the building lot, didn't they?
They do, correct.
Okay, so if they wanted to build a home, they could still build one with the property they currently own. Potentially. Oh, you're on mute somehow.
So yeah, they would have to, I think they were all still, they weren't combined, so they're all
Oh.
individually non-buildable, but if memory serves, but I can pull it up real quick and confirm. But in either case, they met the size requirements in that zone to be buildable.
Okay,
Does it say that?
yes,
And it's a unimproved paper road
Right.
is what they're.
Woodside.
on. It's
Right,
not,
correct.
East side was a different road, but it's an unimproved paper road.
yeah, it said Woodside on here, but it's actually Woodland.
What does that mean? An unimproved paper road?
Because years ago, when that was subdivided, before the town took it back in 1955, all that property, all down there between every so many, there's like two sets of lots, and then there's what they call a paper road, because they were never actually finished.
And if
So-
you go there, it's just like a little path, it's just.
Correct, there's
Usually
probably
grass
20
even.
20 paper roads down all through Schoolhouse Pond.
Right.
Yeah,
I've been in town too long.
yeah, I had looked at this years ago and it was, with the history of, God, I can't think of the people that owned it.
Parker,
Parker,
there was Parker and somebody else.
the Parker family from way back, which inherited, it was all part of Beldings?
E.L. Parker, I think.
I think it was all part of Beldings and, like summer cottages and.
Right,
Lots and
Belding, they
stuff.
had their,
Way back when, and-
clubhouse down there.
Yeah, and the
Belding
town
Clubhouse.
ended up acquiring it. And we're talking, oh, there's probably 50 to 100, these small lots that the town owns,
I would
all up
think
through there.
to a certain degree for the purpose of open space and for protecting the water at Little Pond. You know, although he could potentially build a house if he merged his current properties together. You know, maybe it's not a bad idea to keep it as open space. I could always look back to try to find that.
What do you mean, to sell it?
Not to sell it.
Not to sell it, yeah,
Not to
that's
sell it.
kind of where I was leaning, but
Yeah,
just because it does set up the platform for possible housing
mhm.
or development, we'll say. But
On an already, it's relatively crowded on that lake, isn't it? For the most part, right?
Along the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, along the water, but
And
this isn't
directly,
water, is it?
no, but
It's within, and anything near water is selling for a fortune right
There's
now,
very few open lots on the water down there.
right.
anywhere.
Right.
And anything near water or on water is selling for a fortune right
going
now.
back to the deed, I don't even know, they may even have
Yeah, Paul, what were you gonna-
access,
Water rights.
water rights.
Right, Paul, what were you gonna
Absolutely.
say?
So.
Paul, raise your hand.
So one of the things, if you did want to take them out of the town's hand and put them on the tax roll, you could always put a covenant on the property when you transfer it, that even though it becomes part of the tax roll, you put a conservation easement or something to that effect over it. So it still goes onto the tax roll, but it prevents any type of future development.
Oh, okay,
Well, this is probably a discussion to have with, inlands, wetlands, conservation, planning
okay.
for future. Cause as buildable lots and different things become more and more scarce in the future, as they say, they don't make land anymore.
I do like Paul's idea.
Oh,
I
no,
mean, if
and-
it could be contingent that it
Right.
stays in open space
Mhm.
conservation in perpetuity would be fantastic. Since the resident is saying that he just wants to have privacy and more enjoyment of his land in his letter, so.
But one thing you wanna do, if you do end up selling lots down there, you don't wanna do a quick claim deed, because in the deeds. Cause this was back in the fifties, it says that it has to be a white list in there, so, you know, just to make you aware of it.
Wait, what?
It says what?
It says that it has to be, you couldn't sell it to a colored person or an Asian person or anything, it's right in the original deeds of the property down there.
Huh.
So just something to be,
Well, that's something you don't see much anymore. Wow. Good job, Ray.
Right now, to even act on this, there's so many
Moving parts.
moving parts.
Yep.
down there, there's
Okay, so let's
there's
move
houses
on.
down there that's not on the right, you know, you were talking about Rose Lane, I don't mean to put in. But, you know, it's even worse down on Schoolhouse Pond, even worse.
But I'll keep it in the packet.
I know, I own a lot of lots, quite a few of them lots down there myself, so.
That was the purchase.
That's how,
Yeah.
you know, I've been researching. all
I mean, you
this.
could just
Was
let
there
it-
some building in that area recently, or was there something put up in that area? I thought I heard something about that. No, I don't know that area that well.
There's been a couple big houses put up down there.
that they've leveled houses and redid
Yes.
them.
Right, there's been
Yeah.
a
But they
lot
were
of,
already,
Well,
the lots. that could
Existing
be-
houses, but
yes.
it making it like the
Yeah.
view for some of the other houses not as accessible.
$8 house down right by the package store, yeah, by Louis.
Yeah.
There's house just sold for his father, the guy who wants to buy this, and he is a conservationist, big time, the guy that wants to buy that property.
Okay.
So,
Oh.
Paul, what were you gonna say?
yeah, so there's not off the top of my head, is there any new houses? Everything that's been built down there is either taken an existing structure and rehabbed it or basically knocked it down, used the
Yeah.
same footprint.
Okay,
Right.
great.
We need more info,
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll get that together.
and I don't think, you'll have an issue waiting on this.
Right.
I would not think.
Nope. Not going anywhere.
not if his goal is to not have it developed.
Yeah. All right, moving on to agenda item, keep the meeting moving. Moving on to agenda item 14. There was the I had brought up the conversation about the town clerk and tax collector terms, whether we extend the term, whether we switch it to an appointed position. These were just questions that were brought to me, and it was important to at least address it and have a conversation. And the suggestion was made that we do a survey, which we did. It's been up for close to a month, I would say.
A little over 3 weeks.
Okay. Should the Board of Selectmen consider a proposal to extend the term of the tax collector and the town clerk from 2 years to 4 years? 260 no's, 248 yeses.
45.
45 yeses. Thank you, Marie. So the no's had that.
Too close to call though.
Should the Board of Selectmen consider a proposal to change the positions of tax collector and town clerk from elected positions to appointed or hired positions? This was closer than I thought it was gonna be, but still not close. No's were 323 and yeses 182. Overall, my opinion, just to throw it out there, is just keep it the way it is.
I would agree.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
yep. So, and I kind of felt that way from the
But this
beginning.
was a great idea to get a sample of what the community is thinking.
Well,
but-
big thanks to the school who had Survey Monkey, because Marie, what was it? We were only gonna be able to get 25 responses if we did it with the free version. So the school
Oh,
already
sure.
had a
Oh,
subscription,
great.
so we were
That's
able
great.
to
Well, I think this
utilize
was great
things.
and I love the fact that we got some raw data back and it gives us a
It's
direction.
not
gives us-
broken. It's worked all these years pretty well,
But if
so.
you look
I
at the
just-
history that we've had,
Mhm.
it's
Right,
it's a handful for both sides.
Yeah.
And
In the last,
changing,
60 years? What, yeah.
yeah.
changing this to kind of take some rights, your right to choose a tax
I was
collector or a town
always-
clerk every 2 years.
I was always in my mind against the appointed.
I am too.
But I wanted to throw it out there because it was brought by a few people to me. And, but I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe 4 years wouldn't be bad, but nah,
We've
keep
had
tradition.
some pretty talented town clerks and
Yeah.
tax collectors, so.
We didn't get changes.
No,
till they retire.
That's right.
Right, Rainey?
All right, moving on.
Oh, yeah.
Agenda item 15, appointment Ronald Amelin, Transfer Station Advisory Committee.
I'll make that motion.
Second emotion.
Okay, and the term would go until November 18th, 2025.
That's what I
Okay,
said.
any discussion on this applicant?
No.
Okay, all in favor of approving Ronald Ameling to the Transfer Station Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Pass this on, right. Madison Avenue, acceptance as a completed road for town maintenance. It is finally ready to be accepted.
Can we hear from Joe on it?
Mhm.
Cause there's been a lot of ups and downs on that project for a number of
It's been a
years.
long project. They have completed it to the standards that were put into place with an as-built. As far as I can tell from what I have inspected of it, and also wetlands. Checking out some of the drainage problems and issues that occurred for the last couple of years over that process. Everything should be approved. And I agree to it if you do agree. Everything meets the standards.
Yeah, you haven't found anything out of the way.
And Margaret did do a site walk with the engineer. So,
Cause I know we had problems with clogged drains a few years ago.
Yes.
Right.
They flushed them out and did some repairs to them, some patch repairs to them, which I wasn't familiar with them, which I talked to a couple of other Putnam and are those repairs suitable for a new project? Because it's like buying a brand new car that has a dent in it, basically.
Yep.
So, and the other directors I talked to agreed that they were good fixes and everything seems to be up to par.
Okay, and what about the top coat being put on?
Top coat came out okay. I wouldn't give it an award for anything, but it will be sufficient probably for the next 15-20 years.
Yeah, cause I'm looking at,
Especially on a road that's a dead end road, that's not a cut through road to travel, it's gonna be limited on it. It'll probably go on longer than that, which I wanna do some maintenance to it. In the course of the next 7 years, we're gonna, with the Beta Corporation, keep our eye on it to make sure it stays up to par.
well, my only concern with the overlay is because of the mix and everything that they put in. Sometimes it doesn't adhere well.
Oh, no, they put plenty of tack coat down. They had a tack coat machine there. The road was completely covered in tack coat because that base coat did sit for
Few years.
3 years. Yeah, pretty close to 3 years. And that was my push, the tack coat, and because of the curbings they were put in properly. Curbings were put in with the base coat, then the top coat's put on. Little bit of damage I had them fix because of trucking and construction, people running them over with equipment. I had them repair a couple of things. A couple small alterations and watch the water and things like that, which we didn't get a whole lot of water, but it's still
Is that curved all the way up and around?
all the way up and around with the Cape Cod berm on there, which is excellent for snow removal.
That's the one that's,
Yeah,
it's kind of flat, but a little angled.
Yeah, it's a little bit wider, but it's more flat. So
And how many
we won't do as much damage with the plows, basically.
how many catch basins that are up there?
Um,
Roughly
I think there's 8.
8. And which means we gotta plow it once we accept it and maintain it. And like you said, the
I
plows
already
are
put it on the list.
the ones that are gonna do the most damage
Yes.
to the
Oh,
trucks and to
absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
to the burn.
We do the most damage to our roads, yes, absolutely.
that since it's a brand new road and stuff, we put out proper markings and stuff, so the guys
Yeah,
don't.
there already is markers up there because there are small transformers. Cause everything is all underground, everything is, and it was all marked out, it's still marked out now, and whoever gets that
The
route will go out there and put some redheads where needed.
Yeah, if you put out the redheads, at least they know something's
They
there.
have to get some
You
money.
can't control them, but they
No,
know
no.
there's something there.
No,
it'll minimize some damage.
Yeah, but it's a good job, the job was done, and it was done to specs,
Okay,
so.
Is this the last step in the process for this road?
Yes, the final
is the-
acceptance.
We have to-
for
Acceptance by the
maintenance,
board, okay.
right.
So I'll make the motion that we accept Madison Road
As a completed road.
as
for town
as
maintenance.
presented, yeah, as a completed road. That's what I was looking for, Madison Avenue as a completed road.
second.
Right, any
for town
further
acceptance.
discussion?
Yeah,
All in favor?
I,
I do have, moving on to other business, I do have one agenda item to add. If I may, make a motion to add to other business. The request from the Recreation Department to close a portion of Main Street, the stretch from Carriage Square Apartments to the library's rear driveway from 12:30 PM to 8:30 PM. This portion will house vendors for our outdoor winter market. Additionally, we are requesting to close Main Street from the library driveway to St. Joseph's Church to through traffic from the hours of 5 PM to 8 PM. This is to allow for the horse-drawn carriage rides up and down Main Street. Thompson EMS and constables have agreed to direct traffic. Well, Thompson EMS will have a presence. Constables will help direct traffic at Red Bridge Road and Reardon Road, or Red Bridge Road, and School Street during these hours. So it's a
And
request. from
December
the- I
7th.
make that motion to add it to the agenda.
second,
Okay, all in favor of adding this item to the agenda?
I,
Sorry, I should have done that first, but I wanted you to understand the full scope of what was being asked. So, this is added to the agenda.
I'll make the motion to close the road, it's December 7th, correct?
December 7th, yeah,
What were the hours described?
to 12:30 to 8:30 PM.
from where to where?
From the stretch of, portion of Main Street from the stretch of Carriage Square Apartments to the library's rear driveway. And, but,
Just that short stretch,
yes,
okay?
and then, but the second is from
That-
5 PM to 8 PM. Do you want to do one motion for one and then the second portion of the road, or do it all together?
You can do it all
Do it
together.
all together,
Okay,
yeah.
So the second portion of the road is from 5 PM to 8 PM for the horse-drawn carriage rides, and it would just be closing from the library back rear exit to St. Joseph's School on Main Street for through traffic.
Cause that's gonna close down anything coming off of,
Okay, do we have a second?
yeah, I second.
You seconded,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
So
Because-
those two items.
The only concerns I have is a lot of traffic comes down Reardon Road,
Mhm.
you know, and Red Bridge. And of course, we do have, we can't control what's going on with the, two businesses that are in that area.
Mhm.
And one,
They're aware. We've communicated with them about the evening,
because
so,
one of them is contingent on people coming in and out over there.
right. So, but they're not going to be able to enter from Route 12 north, the northbound end of Main Street. And they'll have full access, if you're talking about Triple Raven, they'll have full access to get to Triple Raven. They just won't be able to go beyond Triple Raven,
Right.
so
So
at least
they-
coming,
they'll be
at
able to
least coming
park-
from Route 12. Coming from.
They'll be
Riverside
able to
Drive.
get to their parking lot. Okay.
Well, you said going down to St. Joseph's Church.
Well, no, St. Joseph's School, the parking lot. That's just, that's
but
the,
that's the-
right? Is that what we're talking?
Still gotta go.
You gotta go around the corner, you still have
Mhm.
the parking for Triple Raven, and if there is a funeral service going on.
Not at 5 at night.
Well, you never know when calling hours are gonna be.
But but they're still gonna be able to
Generally
use
on
the
a
parking
Saturday.
lot at St. John's.
They do them whenever today,
Yeah.
Oh, I understand
and-
that.
I saw
and it-
Whitehurst today.
excuse me?
I said I saw Whitehurst today, so
but I
nothing
mean,
is traditional.
I'm not trying to stop the recreation from doing it,
Well,
I'm
we're
kind of
just trying to
concerned.
create a safe environment. This was on the advice of emergency management. Correct?
Yeah,
But
they're gonna come down with the horse-drawn carriage. And go into the parking lot, turn around, come back up. We're gonna have somebody at Reardon Road, with the Reardon River corner there,
Mhm.
directing traffic. So people can come out and go. to Route 12.
I understand that. that parking lot is used by Triple Raven. It's also used by Gilman Villat
Right.
Funeral Home as well.
No, they talked to Triple Raven. I don't know if they talked to the funeral home or not.
Mm.
That's recreation.
No, I'm just expressing, my concerns with that. Because you can't predict when Gilman Villat is gonna be doing, what they have to do.
5 to 8, usually.
Excuse me?
Calling hours usually 5 to 8.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, this is the first time we did it last year without doing any type of through traffic closure and just took our chances, which probably wasn't. I was riding on the carriage every single ride, so.
And we also told recreation that the carriage has to have lights on the back.
Right,
If not,
Oh, especially this time of the year. with
Right.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have enough manpower to,
we've got constables and we have CERT team coming too.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm all for recreation and doing whatever, but I do have a concern of the impact of the business.
Do we need
as
more
well.
constables that are willing to work? Yes.
Mhm. So thoughts,
I just gave you my thoughts.
okay. So does that mean, well,
That my concern is with we can't predict what Gilman Villat may do.
you're concerned about the 5 to 8 PM.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern because of calling hours possibly, and of course and that's what day is that?
Saturday.
Saturday, and
Do you feel,
that other businesses open
Some
prime
easy way
hours.
for them to turn around.
do you feel we must close it to through traffic? Do you think it's busy enough that it would need to be closed entirely to through traffic? Or just someone just held up because the carriage is coming this way?
There was a lot of traffic that turned up School Street, the last event that we
Right.
had there.
Yeah.
If
There
it,
are cars that cut through there all the time.
well, they've got to either go up School Street or they got to go up Reardon Road
I
Yeah,
think we
to
should
get
send
to
them
that
up.
back area.
If we closed it at Reardon Road, I think it would be adequate where nothing from Reardon Road.
Well, that means they've got to go up Red Bridge Road over the First
Yeah.
Street and down School Street. Because they got to come out of that area one way or the other, because people do live up there.
yeah, but they can't come out School Street.
No, because that's right
It's
across from the
closed, that's
library.
closed.
Yeah, so
They'll
it's,
have to come out on First, through the neighborhood by the ball field.
Right,
Mm.
correct.
Red
But-
Bridge.
But but they still have to access. I mean, if they're coming out of Red Bridge, which we consider the lots up there, is what the term was back
The
in the
lots.
day. That means with Reardon Road closed and School Street closed, onto Main, they would have to go out Reardon to Blaine Road to come out.
Not if you closed it right at Reardon Road. Stop traffic from going north from Reardon Road, north to the library.
Mhm.
In that way there, if cars are coming down the hill from the ball field, they have to turn right, go by the church and back out Route 12.
That was the plan,
Just shoot them down around by
by church.
There'd be a
Okay.
short distance that the carriage
Yeah.
is gonna be traveling in. They turn around at the church.
yeah, I
And we'll have a constable there, so they'd be able to.
Okay. Closing it at Reardon
So
Road.
closing it at Reardon versus.
Main Street
this-
completely closed at Reardon except for somebody that lives on it.
Yes.
Turning right to go down towards the church, that's fine. We still need to let traffic come in from Riverside Drive to get to Gilman and or
You'd
Triple
have to
Raven.
go around and come in from the other end of Main
That's
Street.
coming from Main Street off the 12.
Yeah, right over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. Long as we're not shutting
They have
off and hurting
access.
those businesses.
Yep.
It is only 3 hours. It is only 3 hours, as long as they can
A
get,
lot of business
get
can
to
be
the
done in
business.
3 hours.
as long as they can
Right, but-
still, but they're still,
But we're drawing people to the area
See-
for the brewery.
exactly.
The Gilman aside. Their
Gilman would be a
business-
whole nother,
Yeah, I think it's
That's
important
unpredictable.
for recreation to notify them,
Absolutely.
so they know what's going on that night. They should know anyways, because there's going to be a lot more people and traffic.
And obviously, I would think that with proper traffic control, if the carriage goes by Reardon Road down to the parking
They're
lot,
gonna stop
you
traffic.
stop traffic till they get back
Get
up
back
and go.
up. Yeah. They turn around, come back up.
That works. So it kind of amends what was asked for then.
Mhm.
So closure of the main street from the stretch of Carriage Square Apartments to the library's rear driveway from 12:30 to 8:30 PM. And then between 5 PM and 8 PM.
Cause the carriage is going from the
Closing
library.
from the library to Red Bridge or Reardon. Is it Red Bridge or Reardon?
It's Reardon.
It is Reardon?
It's Reardon.
There was a debate the other day and I thought.
No,
someone said it
Reardon
was
goes
Red
to
Bridge.
the, Reardon goes to Maine. Red Bridge ends at the stop sign just as you go up.
So that's where that through traffic closure would be between 5 and 8.
Yeah, unless you happen to be living there.
And Suzanne, you made that motion?
I think I did.
It's getting late. and
No,
With-
that was a
with
while
those-
ago.
With those conditions, I'll say.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of this road closure as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. All right. Any other citizen comments? Please no citizen comments, please no. No,
There's a
just
hand
kidding.
up, Valerie.
No,
Clark.
that's not. Nope, that was me. Yep, there's Valerie Clark. Yes.
No, please no citizens' comments. Valerie Clark, Road, and I just, circling back to the Pompeo Road discussion, I support the idea of the selectmen saying that the siting council needs to be very considerate of the fact that this is a scenic road and that there are houses that with the current plan would be right next to this, that this is representing a change in value to the existing homeowners. The other thing that I thought of, and I was trying to get some type of citation, but is, would it be reasonable and would it be at all beneficial to the residents that are concerned about this if the other recommendation were to also consider adhering to the town's solar planning and zoning solar recommendations, so that if this proposal didn't go through the siting council and came straight to P&Z, which it's not going to, it's not even going to cross their desks, but if it did, what restrictions would P&Z be allowed to place relative to their regulations, and are those acceptable to the residents, and is that something that's worth proposing? So I wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizen comments on Zoom or in the room?
Ray Williams, Port Plain Road, I just wanna thank you for not doing that, town clerk and the tax assessors. That's actually the main reason why I'm here. And I wanna thank Joey for doing the job he's been doing a hell of a job.
Agreed,
Agreed.
thank you.
Late night for you, Joe, tonight.
I've been sleeping for the last half hour.
Valerie Clark.
Ditto what Ray said about the the decision to not try to move forward with the changes to the appointments and the terms. Thank you.
Great. Any other citizen comments at this time? All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item, oh my gosh, what number is this?
432. I'll make a motion that we accept the tax refunds for Amy St. Ange, 2572, Toyota Lease Trust, 68745, Toyota Lease Trust, 29622, Toyota Lease Trust, $379.32 Toyota Lease Trust, $695.98 Toyota Lease Trust, $367.08 Toyota Lease Trust, $167.14 Toyota Lease Trust, $687.45 Toyota Lease Trust, $430.92 Toyota Lease Trust, $388.30 Honda Lease Trust, $211.53 Kevin Haney, $211.67 Toyota Lease Trust, $400.29, and Ally Financial, $293.16, for a total of $5,192.23.
Second,
Okay, any discussion on these tax refunds?
no,
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
And I'm going to abstain because I'm one of the recipients of the tax refund. All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
second.
It's 9:30. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not just